My name is Bernadette, but most folks call me Bernie, 30, female. I've always been the kind of person who cares deeply for others. You know, the one who goes out of her way to help, even when it's not asked for. I was raised to be kind and generous, and I never held a grudge against anyone. But then there's Ruth. She's my sister-in-law, and boy, let me tell you, she's a piece of work. Ruth is the only daughter in her family, and I quickly realized how spoiled she was. She had this air of entitlement, always acting like she was the queen bee. What bothered me even more was how she treated her own kids, Hannah and Lila. They'd come over for sleepovers, and every time they'd complain about their mom. They told me she was strict, hardly ever home to play with them, and they saw on her social media that she wasn't on work trips as she told them, but out partying and drinking, acting like a reckless teenager. It infuriated me. I could handle Ruth being a bad person, but a bad mother too? That was a line I couldn't let her cross, for the sake of her kids at least. So I started feeling resentful towards Ruth, and I didn't hesitate to share my frustrations with my husband Greg. However, he was serving in the military and was often away from home, so there wasn't much he could do about his sister's behavior or how she treated me or her own children. Despite my growing disgust for Ruth, I always welcomed my nieces Hannah and Lila with open arms. They were such bright and wonderful young girls. They enjoyed spending time with their cool Aunt Bernie, as they'd often call me. Whenever Ruth would come back to pick up the kids after her mysterious outings, I tried to talk to her in private. I tell her that what she was doing wasn't right and that she needed to step up as a parent. But Ruth's reaction was far from what I'd hoped for. She'd fly into a rage, yelling and cursing at me right in front of her own children, causing a scene, making a mess in my home. She claimed that I didn't know anything and that I had to stay out of her business. Maybe you think I'm wrong for telling a parent how to parent, but how couldn't I? I saw how those girls were feeling and how sad they'd be when they had to return home. Something had to give, right? This went on for a while, and I brushed it off until one day I received a text from Ruth. She threatened to make my life a living hell if I kept on talking about her life choices. I was frustrated and feeling cornered, so I decided to reach out to my mother-in-law. And to my surprise, I found that she had blocked me. It wasn't just her either. I soon discovered that other in-laws had blocked me too. I couldn't understand why they would do this, but I had a strong hunch that Ruth was behind it all. She treated me poorly ever since I joined the family, and this was just another example of her vindictiveness. Frustrated by the situation, I decided to take matters into my own hands. I contacted Ruth and arranged to meet her for a serious chat, as it appeared no one else was willing to put her in her place. We met up at a local coffee shop, and I began by calmly explaining that I didn't appreciate the way she'd been speaking to me. I wanted a productive conversation, but of course, Ruth's reaction was far from constructive. She started yelling at me, as she normally does, but this time I wasn't having any of her BS. I told her that I wanted to have a productive conversation, making it clear that if she wasn't willing to talk to me like an adult, I'd leave and never bother her again, and I would expect the same from her also. This made her stop in her tracks for a while. Typical. I could see the cogs moving behind her eyes, and she was seriously debating whether or not to talk to me rudely. It was clear that Ruth had stopped yelling for a moment because she knew she had the advantage of free babysitting services from me whenever she wanted to go out on her escapades. However, just as I suspected, Ruth's bitterness and anger got the better of her, and she felt attacked by the truth, which only fueled her anger. Ruth, I just want to talk about the way you treat me. It's not right. And you know it. Who do you think you are? You have no business telling me how to act. I'm a grown woman. Then act like it. Why do I have to be here telling a grown woman how to treat people? Everyone says that you're awful. No one says that. It's only you. It's everyone, sweetie. They just don't want to tell you because of how you're reacting right now. You don't tell me what to do. I'm just trying to have a productive conversation here. If you're not willing to do that, then maybe we should end this discussion. You think that you can come in here and judge me, huh? You judge my parenting like your Mother Mary. You know what? I'm going to make your life a living hell, Bernie. I'm going to make sure that no one speaks to you in this city ever again. How would you like to be branded as a wife who's cheating on her man, who's serving the country? It's not like it hasn't been done before. Everyone will believe me and no one will believe you. Why are you so full of hate and anger? It's not enough that you've convinced all of our in-laws to block me, and now you're threatening to spread rumors about me? You're honestly sad and pathetic. We went back and forth for a short while, and I was just completely drained from this sad, bitter woman. I'm done, Ruth. I can't deal with your behavior anymore. As I was walking out of the cafe, Ruth was shouting insults and lies about me, making me seem like I was the bad guy in the situation. Feeling drained by the confrontation with Ruth, I decided to take a step back and focus on my own life, wanting to avoid the negativity that my sister-in-law brought into my world. Meanwhile, Hannah and Lila began reaching out to me more frequently after that altercation at the cafe. They would sometimes be left alone for days on end, with no one to care for them, being forced to fend for themselves. I obviously grew worried about the well-being of my nieces, especially after learning that Ruth had become even more hostile towards them since Child Protective Services, CPS, had paid a visit. I was the one who decided to call CPS because I genuinely didn't know what else I could do. I couldn't just sweep up the kids myself. Ruth was so crazy she might have charged me with kidnapping. I called CPS hoping that they would protect my nieces. However, the situation remained unchanged. Ruth always seemed to get wind of CPS's potential visits, and that's when she would put on her Mother of the Year hat and act like she was the best mother in the world. Hannah and Lila would tell me on the phone that this CPS visit made Ruth more hostile towards the kids. And I was caught between my desire to help my nieces and her fear of making their lives even worse. Every so often, when Hannah would tell me that Ruth wasn't around, I would drop off food and drinks and board games at their home. If I was feeling extra risky that day, I'd sit down with them and hang out because no kid should be left alone. I just couldn't help but wish that Ruth would put her pride aside and ask for help in taking care of the kids. She knows that I loved those babies to death and that Ruth could spit in my face, but I would still take care of Lila and Hannah. But Ruth's stubbornness seemed permanent. I couldn't believe my eyes when I opened the door and saw Ruth standing there. She looked disheveled and helpless, like she'd spent the last few nights on the streets. "Ruth, what are you doing here?" She hesitated for a moment and then revealed something that left my jaw on the floor. "Bernie, I don't know where else to turn. I've hit rock bottom and I need money fast. It's for the kids." I could feel the weight of her request, but her previous actions had made me cautious. "Why not ask your own family for help, Didn't you say you hated me and you wanted nothing to do with me?" "I did ask my family and they helped me out already. I can't go back to them now. This money is urgent, Bernie. Cut the holier-than-thou crap and help me, please." I just wasn't buying it. With the way she was looking, she looked like she would blow the money on booze and drugs, so I said this. "Tell me what the kids need and I'll buy it for them." "Huh? What? Why? Just give me the money. I'm their mother. And I'm their aunt and I care about them, so I want to buy them things." "Why do you always act this way? Why can't it ever be simple with you? You always want to argue with me." Her frustration grew and she lashed out. "You're supposed to be family, Bernie. You won't even help your struggling in-law and your own nieces." That's funny because not long ago you were the same one trying to distance me from the family, no? That's all in the past, Bernie. I can't stand you sometimes. Why did I even come here? Because you're struggling and you need help, but not in the way you think. I think you're going through something and I'm here to help you if you just let... I don't want your help. I don't need your help. Coming here was clearly a mistake. Thanks for reminding me how useless you are. She turned away to storm off, but I was feeling angry, so I said, One day, you're going to get caught for all the crap you're doing. Those babies deserve a present mother, and you know it." She stopped in her tracks and said, "So it was you who called CPS. I have half a mind to teach you a lesson about snitching." For a moment it seemed like she wanted to start a fight, and I was getting ready for it, but then she stopped. I think she must have remembered her desperate need for my help, and she knew that putting her hands on me would end our relationship for good. Without another word, she stormed off, leaving me feeling so sad for her. A couple of weeks went by and I continued to receive texts from Hannah and Lila. They described how Ruth was indeed spending more time at home, but it was far from what they had hoped for. Instead of a caring mother, she was drinking heavily and complaining about life incessantly. Hannah and Lila's messages filled me with deep sympathy for them. I wished I could whisk them away from that environment to offer them the stable, nurturing home they needed. It became increasingly evident that their mother was only home more often to give the appearance of being a responsible parent. The truth, however, was far from it. Then one night I received a call from Hannah and Lila, and their voices trembling on the other end of the line. I could hear the shakiness in Hannah and Lila's voices as they spoke to me, and it tugged at my heartstrings. "Aunt Bernie, things aren't okay here. We really miss you. Why don't you come to visit us?" "Yeah, Aunt Bernie, I miss your cookies and your stories." I felt a lump in my throat, but replied with as much reassurance as I could muster. "I miss you both so much, and I promise you we'll find a way to spend time together. Your happiness means everything to me. Things with your mom are a bit sticky right now, but you don't need me to tell you that. God, I wish I could just whisk you two away." "To Bora Bora, like you promised?" "Yes, to Bora Bora, and to anywhere you two want to go. Where would you like to go, girls?" We spent the rest of the evening chatting about lighter subjects, trying to forget the harsh reality of their situation, if only for a little while. One day, when I was minding my own business, I heard the loud roar of a car in my driveway. Anyone who knows me knows I'm a homebody, and people don't just pull up to my place unexpectedly. So obviously I rushed outside to see who it was. My heart skipped a beat when I saw Hannah and Lila standing in my driveway with their little backpacks and smiling faces. The surprise had left me momentarily speechless, but I quickly rushed to hug them. I had missed them so much. I saw Ruth in her car pulling out of the driveway. Was she just going to leave them here without saying anything? "What's going on, Ruth?" Ruth looked frazzled and half yelled. "I have to go away for a month, and you'll have to take care of them, so yeah." Without hesitation, I ushered the kids inside, telling them to help themselves to whatever they wanted in the kitchen. After that, I walked up to Ruth, unable to contain my anger any longer, and I began to shout at her, my voice echoing through the driveway. "Ruth, what the heck is the meaning of all this? What's your problem? Why are you yelling at me? You can't just drop the kids and disappear for an entire month. What the hell's going on? I thought you loved little brats. Bernie, why are you complaining? Don't you miss them?" "Of course I love Hannah and Lila, and they're not brats. But you can't just dump them here like you don't care about them, and you can't just dump them here without consulting me. What if I wasn't home? What if I had a work trip?" "Okay, but you don't, and you're here. That's all that matters. You're so spoiled, it's disgusting." "Don't raise your voice at me. You know what? This is all your fault." "What? If you'd helped me with the money like I asked, I wouldn't have to do this. I wouldn't have to slave away for an entire month just to make ends meet. You were the one who said I had to be a better mother, and that's exactly what I'm doing." "Okay, where are you going?" "Why is that your business?" "What if the kids need you? What if they get sick? How am I going to contact you and get hold of you if I don't know where you're going?" "There's this thing called a text message, Bernie. Look it up." God, you're insufferable. So you're going on some secret mission then? I don't get it. Why can't you just tell me where you're going? "Because it's none of your business." "You know what I think? I think that you're going to your little drug parties." "What? Why would you think that?" "Because you're a mess, Ruth. You don't know anything about me. Maybe, and honestly I'm glad, maybe it would be better for everyone if you just went away and never came back. You certainly wouldn't be missed." Ruth was hurt by my words. I saw her face twist and it looked like she wanted to cry, but she quickly recovered and started yelling at me all over again. "Oh, you would love that, wouldn't you? Well, unfortunately for you, I'll be back to take my kids. They love me and they need me." I couldn't be bothered to listen to the rest of her spiel, so I headed back inside the house while she continued to shout at me in the driveway. I got inside the house and locked the door behind me, took a deep breath, and said to Hannah and Lila, "Okay, ladies, who wants to bake some cookies with me?" As the days flew by, I cherished the precious moments with Hannah and Lila. My heart swelled with love and appreciation for these beautiful, smart nieces of mine. I couldn't wrap my head around how they turned out to be such loving, kind children despite being raised by the devil herself. But I wasn't one to question miracles. Every day, Hannah and Lila would open up about the things their mother had done to them. The verbal and physical abuse, even denying them food, it made my blood boil, and I knew I had to devise a plan to ensure the girls would be well taken care of. Hannah, always the little detective, created a burner account to follow her mom. At some point, Ruth had blocked the girls and me from viewing her social media. I guess she figured out that she was being sloppy with her rendezvous. But now, with the burner account, we could see the picture and posts of Ruth living it up during this month when she was supposedly working to support her kids. My suspicions were confirmed, and I knew Ruth wasn't off being productive. Instead, she was drowning her sorrows and neglecting her responsibilities. Lila's eyes welled up. "What's wrong, sweetie?" I know that this won't last forever. I know that she'll come back, and I don't want that." "Me too, sis. I wish we could stay here forever." "Why can't we stay here?" "Well, sweetie, it's a bit complicated. She's your mother. Even if she isn't a good one, she's still your mother, and the laws that make it very difficult for kids to live with whoever they want, even if they're completely in the right." I hugged them both tight and promised that everything was going to work out for us. I told them I would figure something out and make sure that they were protected, even if I couldn't physically be there for them. As the month was ending, Hannah and Lila grew increasingly nervous. The thought of going back home with their horrible mother didn't bring them any comfort. I tried my best to stay strong and calm for their sake, but I couldn't deny it. I was also feeling pretty sickly and nervous too. That Ruth lady was something special. True to form, Ruth arrived a day later than expected, and when she stepped out of the car, she looked like a complete mess. Her hair was disheveled, her eyes bloodshot. She clutched a cigarette between her shaky fingers. Hannah and Lila were still clinging to me. "Come on, girls, I don't have all day. Get in the car." Ruth waited for her children to run to her. She probably envisioned it, but they didn't. Frustrated, Ruth began yelling at her kids, ordering them to move and come to her so they could go home. She even tried to bribe them with the promise of pizza, but it didn't work. "Oh, Bernie, I don't want to go with her. Please don't make us go with her." And that moment right there completely broke my heart. I mean, how could I say no to that? I just couldn't. I mustered up the courage and said, "Ruth, I don't think the girls want to leave." She looked shocked, probably not expecting such a standoff, and slowly she moved closer, and that's when Hannah, with newfound bravery, spoke directly to her mother. "We don't want to go home. You're mean to us." Ruth was yelling louder at this point, drawing attention to this otherwise chilled and quiet neighborhood, and I was feeling nervous and embarrassed because I didn't want things to escalate. "What the hell are you talking about, little brat? I'm your mother." "No, you're not our mother." "Excuse me? You heard me. I don't even want to call you Mom anymore." "Yeah, me neither. You're not my mom. Aunt Bernie is." "Aunt Bernie is more of a mom to us than you ever were." "Oh, I see what's going on. You've brainwashed them, huh? This was your plan all along, wasn't it? To get them to be on your side and to leave me in the dust." "Ruth, I can assure you, I never told them to say any of this. I'm hearing it for the first time, too. We're not lying. We want to stay with you. You're our real mom." "Why do you even care, Ruth? Wouldn't it be better this way? You never wanted us, and you don't even love us. So why can't you just let us live with Aunt Bernie?" Ruth seemed stumped at this point. She started blubbering and muttering some excuses, but it was all nonsense. It seemed like she had finally shut up. Being denied as a mother and having your kids call someone else their mom must have cut her pretty deep, because I've never seen Ruth that embarrassed before. I don't know what to say. Let's be honest here, Ruth. The kids have a point, and I think they're old enough to know what they want and what they don't want. And clearly they don't want you. But why? Why doesn't anyone want me? Oh, come on, Ruth. Don't act like you didn't do this to yourself. You've been such a horrible human being. So don't be surprised when people don't want to be around you anymore. I just didn't think that my own kids would deny me. Your daughters are the smartest, most beautiful people I know. You couldn't have treated them so poorly and expected them to love you unconditionally. That just doesn't make any sense, Ruth. You're smarter than that. Ruth didn't even have any more words. She looked at her daughters pleadingly, but she couldn't even bring herself to say sorry or ask, how can I make things better? Hannah and Lila were ruthless, turning their backs on their mother and getting back inside my house, as if to say, we're done with you. I stood there with Ruth, and she slowly retreated back to her car without saying a word. I didn't know what to say to her. I guess her spirit was completely crushed. Hey everyone, this is Sherry writing, and I'm here to spill the tea on my mother-in-law, Rita. Buckle up, because I'm keeping it real and not holding back on the details. No name changes or sugarcoating. Let us expose the real her. From day one, Rita never liked me. When my husband, Topher, introduced me to her, I felt the chill in the air. Rita, a successful woman in real estate, had earned quite a name for herself. I respect her professional achievements, but little did I know life with her would be a roller coaster. Rita decided to hang up her real estate hat at the ripe age of 50, but instead of enjoying her well-deserved retirement, she focused her attention on me. Why? Well, let us just say my background was not up to her standards. My parents owned a humble hardware store, and while we were not rolling in cash, we lived comfortably. Mom and Dad provided me with everything I needed, but for Rita, it was not good enough. Topher, on the other hand, had always been my knight in shining armor. We met at a concert, lost in the music, and fell head over heels for each other. Love at first sight? Call it what you want, but he was always a gentleman. After 2 blissful years of dating, he dropped a big question. But little did I know that marrying Topher also meant dealing with the storm called Rita. Rita lived separately from us. Unfortunately, we only had to deal with her during family gatherings. Topher, being well aware of his mom's behavior, never pushed me to mingle with her. He understood the kind of person Rita was. We were 2 years into our marriage when I received a phone call from my dad about my grandmother Amy passing away. Hey, Dad, it's been a while. What's going on? Darling, I wish I had better news. It's about your grandma, Amy. She passed away. Oh no, Dad, this can't be true. I saw her just last month and she seemed perfectly fine. Sadly, it was a sudden heart attack. None of us saw it coming. Cherry, I'm going to miss her terribly. It's hard to believe. She meant a lot to all of us. I have so many memories of her. I used to visit her when you and Mom were at the store. She was a special woman. I miss her too. The funeral is scheduled for next week. I think you should be here with us. Absolutely, Dad. I would not miss it for anything in the world. I will make arrangements to be there. It's going to be tough, but we'll get through it together. That means a lot, Cherry. Your presence will be a comfort to all of us. It would have meant the world to her. I'll be waiting for you. After receiving the news about Grandma Amy, I was deeply shaken. The regret of not having one last chance to say goodbye loomed over me. I remembered the countless afternoons spent at her cozy home. She would bake the most delicious cookies and the aroma filled the air. Whenever I felt down or had a bad day, her wise words and comforting hugs made everything better. She would sit with me and share stories from her own youth. When Topher arrived home from work that day, I could not hold back the emotions. I shared the heartbreaking news about Grandma Amy. "Hey babe, are you okay? Your face is so red. Have you been crying?" "Well, Dad called. Grandma Amy passed away. It was a heart attack." "Oh my God, honey, that is terrible. She seemed like a lovely lady. Remember the nickname she used to call me?" "Yeah, she called you Topher the Titan. She had a way with nicknames." "Oh, right. That was her way of making me blush. She has such a playful spirit. I'm so sorry, love. Losing someone you care about is never easy." "Definitely. Anyway, the funeral is next week on the 19th. "Oh, you said the 19th, honey?" "I'm so sorry I forgot to tell you. My mom called. She'd already booked the train tickets and wanted to visit. I know she can be a lot to deal with, especially in a tough time like this. I do not know what I should say to her." "Oh, Rita's coming over, and the train ticket has already been booked?" "Yeah. I'm sorry I forgot to tell you about it with all the work at the office." "Well, she can come to the funeral with us if she wants to, or she can stay here at our place while we attend it." "Are you sure you won't mind her coming?" "No, it's fine. The ticket's already booked, and I know she can be a lot sometimes, but I think I'll be able to get through it." "Yeah, I'll already tell her about how you're dealing with this loss right now, and I'll make sure she does not give you any crap during her stay here." "Yeah, that would be good." "Anyway, did you eat something? I can make us some dinner." "Yeah, that would be great." "Let's try to make the best of the situation, and I will handle Mom. You do not need any additional stress right now." "Thank you, Topher. I appreciate you always looking out for me." So I made it through the week with Topher's support. Every day after coming home from the office, he would sit with me, patiently listening to my stories about Grandma Amy, trying to ease the pain. He would cook our favorite dinner, a small attempt to bring comfort through shared meals. But most importantly, he would hold me close, providing the strength I needed to face the grief. The day finally came when Rita arrived, and I felt a mix of anxiety and sorrow, unsure of how she would handle the situation. Topher had warned her about my fragile state, but Rita, being Rita, had her own way of doing things. She walked into our home with an air of authority, as if she owned the place. "Oh, Cherry darling, you've lost so much weight. Your face looks so dull." "Yeah, Topher must have told you about my grandma." "Yeah, sorry for your loss, but to be honest, I would recommend you to get over it soon. You would not want people to see you like this." "Mom, that is rude. Let her grieve." All right. Cherry, take my bags to the room, and could you make me some tea?" "I've got it, Mom. And did you forget what I told you over the phone?" Yeah, give Cherry her space. Do not be harsh on her. Blah, blah, blah. I'll be staying for a week, by the way, so better get used to it." "You're welcome to stay." "So is the funeral tomorrow?" "No, it's on the day after tomorrow. If you would like to come with us, it's about an hour's drive." "No, I'm good. You already know how I feel about your family, Cherry. I mean, no offense or anything, but I do not mingle with such people. I have my books to keep me company here." So the day after next, Topher and I attended Grandma Amy's funeral. It was an emotional and challenging day surrounded by family and cousins. After the whole process, we headed back home. As soon as we pulled up to our house, Topher received an urgent call from work. He asked me to go in and assured me he would be back soon. Entering the house alone, I found Rita on the couch, engrossed in her book, sipping coffee. I greeted her with a simple "hi," but she did not bother responding. Deciding to avoid any unnecessary interaction, I headed straight to my room. After changing out of my sober black dress into more comfortable home clothes, I heard a knock on the door. "Do you mind if I come in?" "No, not at all. I just freshened up a bit." "I heard you saying hi, but I was so engrossed in the book. How did the funeral go?" "Well, it was hard, but I hope she's in a better place now." "Tell me more about your grandmother." Absolutely. Grandma Amy was a remarkable woman. She met my grandpa when she was 17. She dedicated herself to being a loving housewife, finding joy in the simplicity of everyday moments. She was not defined by societal standards of success. Her life was a testament to the power of love and kindness. Grandma Amy had this way of making everything feel warm and comforting. She will live forever in my heart. So, she seems like a decent lady. Did she leave you anything? Well, she gifted me her most precious possession earlier this year on my birthday. Honestly, I'm not too concerned about inheritances, Rita. What possession are you talking about? It's a jewelry box, an expensive one that my grandpa got for her. Can I see it? Of course. I opened my closet and carefully took out the jewelry box from the safe. Wow, these look like diamonds. Are they real? Yeah, they are. The box is diamond studded. This must have cost a fortune. Why hold it so close to your heart? You can put it on the market and get yourself nice things. It's not about the money. It's the one thing my grandma decided to give me and not anyone else. I respect that. You must have held a special place in her heart. I appreciate that, Rita. I especially needed this chat today. Well, enough with this sentimental stuff. I will go back to reading my book. I did not read too much into the interaction with Rita. I mean, sure, it was unexpected, Rita being all nice and everything, but I thought maybe, just maybe, she did it out of pity, seeing that I had a hard time at the funeral. Anyway, there were 5 more days of Rita at our place and the storm was starting to brew. The next day was pretty normal. Topher went to work and I was at home coexisting with Rita. After we had lunch, Rita decided to head to the garage to look for gardening tools. She wanted to change up a few things about the garden, so I didn't stop her. A few minutes later, she came into the living room where I was watching TV. Oh, Cherry, you will not believe how long it took me to find those gardening tools in the garage. It is a real mess, and those spider webs, my goodness, I found them in some other corners of the house too, and this carpet. It's so untidy too. Yeah, I know the house has not been in great shape, Rita. It's just challenging to manage everything on my own. I thought about hiring a cleaner, but I never found the right one. Funny thing, the other day when you were at the funeral, there was this guy offering cleaning services, going door to door. He gave me his number. How about I give it to you later tonight and you can give him a call? That is actually a good idea, Rita. Thanks for being unexpectedly helpful. Your visit might be more productive than I thought. No problem, dear. Despite my tough exterior, I do wish you well. Later that night, while we were having dinner, Rita shared the contact information of the guy named Aaron. Cherry, here is that number I mentioned earlier. Oh, thanks, Rita. I'll give him a call and see if he can help with the cleaning. Honey, you should have told me earlier if you needed help around the house. I didn't want to bother you with little things. Babe, there is nothing little about it. We are a team and we should share the load. Well, thanks, babe, but I have got it handled now thanks to your mom. I talked to the guy, Aaron, and booked an appointment with him for 11 o'clock the next day. He appeared at the door the next day and seemed decent. He took a quick look around the house. He assured me that it would take him the whole day to clean everything thoroughly. I was fine with it, and Aaron began his work. As Aaron delved into cleaning, I headed to the kitchen to start prepping for lunch. That is when Rita walked in. The cleaning guy is here today. I thought it would be at a later time. Yeah, I wanted to book him for the weekend, but he was already so busy. But I got us these 2 tickets for a movie at 2. I think this is going to take a while, huh? What, a movie? That is so unexpected. We have never gone one-on-one somewhere, just the 2 of us. Well, there's always a first time for everything. But I just can't leave Aaron here on his own, can I? Oh, come on, you can. He seems like a trustworthy guy. You were just reading too much into it. He's a professional. He's not going to do something. Take a chill pill and let us go relax. I'm not sure about this. Come on, you've been hanging around this house with a gloomy face since I've been here. Okay, let's go to the movies then. I let Aaron know that we were going somewhere and that it was not like we had expensive stuff lying around in the house. Everything valuable was secured in a password-protected safe, and I did not want to doubt the guy. So off we went to the movies. Surprisingly, the time with Rita turned out unexpectedly good. We enjoyed the movie, had an evening snack afterward, and got home around 8. Topher was already there, and I had texted him about Aaron. By the time he arrived from work, he should have run into Aaron and taken care of the payment. The evening went smoother than I had anticipated, and I felt a sense of relief, hoping that maybe Rita's presence was not as bad as I initially thought. The house looked surprisingly clean when we returned. Aaron did an excellent job. So, honey, how's the movie? It was a comedy, so Rita and I shared a few laughs. It was good. We had some pizza rolls later on. To be honest, I cannot believe this is my mom. She's been kind to you since your grandmother's death, don't you think? Yeah, she has. The guy, Aaron, did a good job, though. Yeah, when I got home, he was almost done. I paid him and off he went. Yeah, I know. I should not have just left him here all on his own, though. The guy seems harmless. Anyways, it's late. Rita's already fast asleep in her room. I should change and then we can go to bed. I opened my closet and something seemed off to me. I don't know, call it a sixth sense or whatever, but something told me to check our safe just before going to sleep. The cash was still there, along with some less valuable jewelry. However, the jewelry box, the precious one, was nowhere to be found. Panic set in, and I immediately called out for Topher. Topher, you won't believe what happened. The jewelry box from Grandma Amy is missing from the safe. What? Are you sure? Did you misplace it? No, I'm positive. I checked the safe and it's gone. I don't know what to do. Okay, let's not panic. Maybe we misplaced it somewhere else. We'll search the house first. When did you last see it? The cleaning guy, Aaron, it's him. I remember putting on some jewelry from this safe before going to the movies. It was here then. I mean, he seemed trustworthy. I don't want to jump to conclusions, but strangely, it's missing after he was here. What if he took it? We will start by searching the closet thoroughly. Maybe it's in a different spot. We searched the entire closet and the room, but found no trace of the missing jewelry box. It is possible Aaron took it. I'm so sorry, honey. You were right. I'll go down to the station tomorrow and let them know what happened. Maybe they can track down Aaron and ask him about it. I could not believe it. The one and only thing that I had left of my grandma was now gone. The weight of the loss hit me like a ton of bricks, and I felt a mix of frustration, sadness and anger. How could I have been so careless, leaving the jewelry box like that? The next day, I decided to tell Rita about the situation after Topher left for work. Despite our differences, I felt it was essential to keep her in the loop, considering she was in the house when it happened. Rita, can I talk to you for a moment? Of course, Cherry. What's on your mind? It's about the jewelry box I showed you the other day. It's missing. Missing? How did that happen? I'm not entirely sure, but it seems to have disappeared when we had that cleaning guy Aaron over. I don't know how he could have stolen it. The safe has a password and everything. It just went missing while we went out to the movies, and I do not want to blame someone without any evidence. But, oh dear, I'm genuinely sorry to hear that, Cherry. I know how much it meant to you. Have you reported to the police yet? I will just leave for the station after having some breakfast. You certainly should. There might be a chance they'll catch him. If there is anything I can do to help, please let me know. So after having breakfast, I headed to the station. I was driving along, all set for the day ahead. It was not until I had almost reached the station that I realized I had forgotten my purse at home, the one with my wallet. I knew I might need some money for parking and a few other things, so I decided to turn back and retrieve it. As I approached my home from a distance, something caught my eye. There was Rita standing outside with a man who looked oddly familiar. It took me a moment to recognize him. It was Aaron, the cleaning guy. Rita was handing him an envelope and I couldn't fathom what I was witnessing. I pulled over behind a big tree, trying to stay hidden as I observed the scene unfold. I felt a mix of shock, confusion, and disbelief. Why was Rita handing money to Aaron? What connection did they have? As I waited for Aaron to leave, I pulled out my phone and started recording them. I could not shake the feeling of being utterly foolish, falling for Rita's act of kindness and assistance with the cleaning service now seemed like a big setup. Once Aaron left, I left a text to Toffa asking him to come home as soon as possible. I cautiously approached my home as I called the police, making sure Aaron was out of sight as he could be dangerous. The whole situation had my mind racing. Who could I trust? "Cherry, what are you doing home so early?" "How about you start answering my questions, Rita? What were you doing with Aaron?" "What do you mean? I just came out for some air." "To the driveway, Rita?" "You better start talking. I have you on video on my phone talking to Aaron. I want to hear the truth before I report anything to the police." "I don't know what you're talking about." "Do you want to see the video of you handing Aaron the envelope?" "Let's not waste time, Rita. I know what I saw." Okay, it was me. I paid Aaron to steal your box. The other day after the funeral, I saw your safe passcode. Aaron is not a cleaner. He's just a guy I know who's desperate for money. And when you told me you had been looking for a cleaner, I just came up with a string of lies to get what I wanted. I had to put on a whole show, but please don't report me to the police. I don't know what came over me. I should not have done this. Are you serious, Rita? You pretended to be helpful all along? You were scheming behind my back? Cherry, it was just lying there in your closet. It could have fetched you a good sum of money, but you are naive for holding on to it. I genuinely wanted to do the right thing, sell it and give you the money. Oh, do you think I'm that gullible? I know you were eyeing the money for yourself. You orchestrated this entire act just to fulfill your greed. Spare me the act of pretending you were doing me a favor. Topher's car pulled up and he got out of the car. I got your text, babe. Is everything okay? Rita, tell your son what you did. Rita narrated the whole incident to Topher with a sprinkle of tears and apologies. Topher looked shocked and gave her a look of disappointment. I can't believe you'd stoop this low, Mom, hiring someone to pose as a cleaner. It's too much. Despite your dislike for Cherry, stealing from my wife and our home when we welcomed you, that's unacceptable. You're my son. Please find it in your heart to forgive me. I'll retrieve the box. It's not just about the box, Mom. You are not destitute, and this isn't about desperation. It's about your desire for more. I'm sorry, but I can't let this pass. You troublesome woman, Cherry. Why did you have to come home early? You have ruined everything for me. I hope you rot in hell with your grandma. The cop car arrived at our house. And there are the cops, Rita. Good luck to you. When the cops arrived, I showed them the video evidence, and Rita, realizing the jig was up, confessed to her crimes. They escorted her to the police station, and we decided to cut all contact with her. The legal drama unfolded as she hired a lawyer, but in the end, she was sentenced to 1 year in prison. It has been a whole month since that unfortunate incident, and honestly, we're doing better without her. Topher has proven himself to be a real gem by standing with me and choosing the path of right over wrong. In a world where many men wouldn't make such a distinction, especially when their mom is in the picture, I feel fortunate to have a partner who values integrity and honesty. Sweet like justice. Karma is real, folks. Hey there, people. I'm Betty, a 29-year-old woman, happily hitched to my incredible hubby, James, for 3 sweet years. Now, let me tell you a little tale about my live-in mother-in-law, Sandra. Sometimes in life, you have to step out and let people realize your worth on their own, right? So Sandra has been a permanent resident in our household since day one of this marital adventure. Now, let me be real with you all. Sandra's the classic type of mother-in-law. Sweet as pie when folks are around, especially in public, but behind closed doors, well, let us just say her sweetness meter took a nosedive. Sure, she threw a bit of shade my way, a nag here and there, but this tough cookie was not crumbling any time soon. James, my knight in shining armor, saw through her act and called her out, making me fall for him even harder. She even tried the old wedge between us trick, but nope, that ship sailed. But hold your horses, because Sandra decided to up her game. Lately, she had found a new way to spice things up by attacking my little bead and crystal jewelry career. Yup, you heard it right. 1 year ago, I quit my gig as a business owner and joined a big jewelry company to work on their designs for them. Crafting these beautiful pieces of beads and crystals became my passion, my baby, and let me tell you, Sandra was not thrilled about my newfound job status. She started poking her nose into my job, criticizing every bead and crystal like she was some kind of jewelry connoisseur. But hey, I stayed strong. This job was my dream, and ain't nobody going to rain on that parade. Her reaction to me quitting my business was where it all started. Hey Sandra, there's something James and I wanted to talk to you about. My small home business wasn't doing very well, and I applied to a few places with my portfolio, and guess what? I got a job at that jewelry brand I have always talked about. What? You make decisions like they don't have any consequences, Betty? Who's going to help me around at home now? Mom, seriously. We should be celebrating right now. I'm just saying she had a perfectly fine little hobby that allowed her to earn a few bucks while helping me around the house. This job can do us a lot of wonders, Sandra. They really like my portfolio, and they even talked about a potential raise after the first year if I keep up with the work. Hope it's more successful than your little home business, dear. We would not want you relying on us for a living, would we? Women like you think they can be successful working women, but in the end you all end up being stay-at-home moms, living off your husband's money. Look at me. I was a teacher, earned respect and contributed to the community. The children and the parents loved me. Sandra, I respect what you have done, but people have different goals. I won't be asking James for money, don't worry about that. And the worst case, if it does not work out, I can always find another job or get back to earning the small bucks you are talking about from my business. Mom, Betty's successful in her own way. She's confident, and please try not to bring her down. Well, we'll see how long your dream job lasts. It's not easy out there for fragile women like you. From the day I made the bold decision to get a job, Sandra turned our home into a battlefield whenever James was away at work. In those initial days, while I was busy with my new job, I would often bring my pending work home to complete it on time, ordering beads, hooks, and crystals for the first batch of designs. I could feel Sandra's negative energy buzzing around me like a persistent mosquito. On countless occasions when I was engrossed in calls with a marketing professional, strategizing how to give my jewelry the right branding and a significant boost on social media, Sandra would deliberately taunt me. Betty, who are all these people you're chatting with on the phone, trying to act like you are the big boss now, huh? I've never seen someone so deep in their own head about being a little designer who works with beads and crystals. I hope you're not fooling yourself into thinking you are some CEO. From the moment I decided to go to work and focus on my career, a whole new saga unfolded around household chores with Sandra. Initially, the division of chores between us seemed fair, reflecting our shared responsibility for the house. However, as days passed, Sandra's participation in household duties dwindled to nothing. I found myself shouldering the entire burden. Each morning she handed me an ever-expanding list of tasks to complete throughout the day. The list at first included typical chores like laundry and vacuuming, but it soon transformed into a laundry list of her personal demands, which I used to do before going to work. In a matter of weeks, I found myself not just maintaining the house, but also attending to Sandra's personal requests. She wanted her closet cleaned every 2 days, and her room tidied up after her mess, and even expected me to handle the dishes she carelessly left on her bed. On top of that, she insisted I cook her favorite meals, which were not only time-consuming but also added an extra layer of stress, especially when I was juggling a job. It felt like I was becoming a personal assistant rather than a partner in maintaining our home. "Betty, I need you to cook dinner for my friends who are coming over tonight. I'm going to take a nap and there are 4 of them, so make enough food." "Sandra, I can help you for an hour, but I have got a meeting afterward. I got to juggle my time wisely." "Just an hour? My friends are coming and I want everything top notch." "Sandra, I have been pulling my weight around here and also going to work. I can't keep dropping everything for your constant demands." "You never have time for the things that matter. This is for your husband and me. Can't you show a bit more dedication?" "Sandra, I can't be at your beck and call 24/7. I've got my own stuff going on." "You are becoming lazy." "I am not lazy. I have responsibilities too." "You should prioritize your family. You are my daughter-in-law after all. You should listen to me." "I'm sorry, not today, Sandra. This is important for me. I don't want to disappoint my boss." I rushed to my meeting after helping Sandra out in the kitchen for an hour. The meeting went surprisingly well, and I was in high spirits as I returned home. However, as I stepped into the living room, I noticed it was empty. The atmosphere felt tense, and the aroma of food lingered in the air untouched. Curiosity and a bit of anxiety led me to Sandra's room. I found her on the bed, and James was standing in a corner, his expression a mix of frustration and disappointment. "What happened here? Why are you upset, Sandra? Didn't your friends come over?" "Betty, this is all because of you. I was stuck in front of the stove for hours and I passed out. No one bothered to help me. I'm tired of managing this house all alone." "I'm sorry if you had a tough time, Sandra. I had an important meeting. I could not just cancel it." Important meeting. Important meeting. You are always off somewhere, neglecting your responsibilities. I had to cancel my friends because of you." "Come on, let us not fight, Mom. Betty, Mom is not feeling well. Maybe you can help her out a bit more." "Sandra, I'm already doing a lot around the house. I usually listen to you, but this time I had to say no because of my meeting." "Oh, so now you're too busy for us. You never think about anyone else but yourself. This is all your fault. You are becoming more and more selfish." "Let us calm down. Mom, like Betty said, she's helping you out as much as she can. So maybe try to be a little more understanding." "It would be better if you guys leave me alone. I had a tough day and I need to rest." So James and I headed to our room after that whole ordeal with Sandra. I could tell he was not entirely surprised by her reaction. "Yeah, I kind of figured she was overreacting. When I got back from work, I heard her singing loudly, and as soon as I said, 'Mom, I'm home,' she stopped. It's just one of her attention-seeking acts. Honestly, there's nothing I can do to deal with Sandra. She puts on these shows to grab attention once in a while, and I promise you I am trying my best to balance work and house duties. I often think about Sandra, and I don't want to put the whole responsibility on her." "I'm so sorry about this. You know she can be tough to deal with sometimes." I was on cloud 9 as my jewelry designs at work were taking off. The decision to leave behind my small business had worked wonders. I was no longer a nobody, and I was getting praise from everyone at work. The sales from my first batch were impressive, thanks to partnerships with influential models. However, despite my success, Sandra was always there, ready to cast a shadow on my achievements. One day, after a particularly good day at work, I returned home with a sense of accomplishment. The plan I had envisioned for myself was gradually falling into place, but as soon as I stepped through the door, there was Sandra seemingly poised to sabotage my happiness. Betty, we need to talk. Your responsibilities at home have been piling up. I've had enough of this. I'm tired of handling all the chores alone. You barely do anything around here. Sandra, that is not true. I still manage to handle half of the chores before leaving for work every day. Half? That's not enough. I should not have to do everything by myself. You are just using your so-called job as an excuse to avoid your responsibilities. I am not avoiding anything. I have found a way to balance work and home life. Besides, I have achieved some great things. We secured a partnership with a popular influencer and our sales have been soaring. My boss is impressed with me. Sales? Who would want to buy the jewelry you design? I've seen it. It's nothing special. Well, you might be surprised to know that our designs are getting attention. We recently got featured in a local magazine and people are showing interest in our unique pieces. Betty, whatever you're doing with your jewelry designs, it is not a real job. It's just a hobby and you are wasting your time on something silly. You should look up to someone more influential like me, but instead you're on a path of being a total flop show. After enduring Sandra's constant criticism, I reached a point where I'd had enough. It felt like she did not recognize the effort I was putting into making things better for us all. For the next few days, I decided to maintain my distance. I would go to the job, come back home, and James and I would have a silent dinner. Sandra did not seem inclined to apologize, and I was standing my ground. James had noticed the tension and we continued our routine without involving Sandra in our conversations. 2 weeks passed and Sandra's birthday was approaching despite our differences. We had a tradition of hosting a party for her, inviting her friends and ex-colleagues. Sandra loved going all out for her birthday celebrations. Even though our relationship was strained, I believed in the importance of celebrating people on their birthdays. I did not want to continue the silent treatment during such a special occasion, so I decided to talk to James about it. James, I was thinking about arranging a surprise birthday party for Sandra. I know we have not been on the best terms lately, but I thought it could be a way to mend things, at least for a day. Are you sure you want to do that, Betty? You and Mom have been having your differences and I would not want the party to turn into another source of conflict. It is okay, James. I've accepted that she has her opinions and I don't want to ruin her birthday for her. This is about making her feel special on her day, and maybe, just maybe, it will open the door for a better understanding between us. If you think it will bring some positivity, then let's go for it. We can plan something thoughtful, gather her friends and make it a day she'll remember like always. The night before Sandra's birthday, James took her out for a surprise evening dinner, giving me the perfect opportunity to transform our home into a festive haven. As they left, I got to work decorating the living room with colorful streamers and vibrant balloons, creating an atmosphere of celebration. I carefully arranged Sandra's favorite flowers on the table, adding a touch of elegance to the room. A banner with "Happy Birthday, Sandra" hung prominently. I waited in the living room for James and Sandra to finally return home, and when they finally did, there was a look of surprise on Sandra's face. "Oh my goodness, what is this?" "Happy early birthday, Sandra. I know we have had our differences, but I wanted to extend an olive branch. Let us put the past behind us and start afresh." "Yeah, Mom. Betty's been working hard to make tomorrow special for you. It was all her idea. So we both decided to throw a party for you." "Well, isn't all this something? A party for me? That is unexpected. I thought it would be nice to celebrate your birthday together. We've done it every year since James and I got married. We both have put in a lot of effort to make it special for tomorrow." "Mom, it's a gesture of goodwill." "Well, I appreciate the effort, James. Thank you for thinking of me. I feel exhausted. Time for me to head to my room, though, and rest for the big day tomorrow." I was shocked. Sandra did not even acknowledge my efforts or thank me for the decorations. It felt like she was intentionally avoiding any connection. James reassured me, saying, "Maybe she'll come around and talk to you tomorrow." The next morning, James and I both took the day off from work. Sandra spent the first half of the day in her room while James prepared her favorite breakfast in bed. Meanwhile, I baked a large cake for the upcoming party, expecting around 25 people. I had also crafted a beautiful crystal bracelet with her birthstone as a special gift for Sandra. It sparkled with elegance. In the afternoon, I decided to personally give the bracelet to Sandra in her room. I knocked gently on the door and entered. "Sandra, can I come in?" "Sure." "Sandra, I wanted to give you this. It's a crystal bracelet I made for you. I hope you like it." A bracelet? Well, thank you, Betty. I suppose it's the thought that counts. I put a lot of effort into it. I thought you might appreciate something handmade. It also included your birthstone to make it extra special." "It's fine. You can leave it there." "Okay, Sandra. I just thought it might bring a smile to your face. Anyway, I will see you at the party later. Happy birthday once again." The party kicked off in the evening and guests started streaming into our decorated living room. I had gone all out to make Sandra's birthday celebration special despite our differences. As the music played and laughter echoed through the room, I could not help but feel a mix of excitement and anxiety. Sandra joined the gathering and I observed her interactions from a distance. She seemed to enjoy the attention. I had prepared a variety of dishes, considering everyone's preferences. The moment finally arrived for the grand cake cutting. We gathered around the beautifully decorated cake, and with a smile on her face, she made a wish and blew out the candles, and the room erupted into applause and cheers. After the party wrapped up, people said their goodbyes, leaving us with the aftermath of a great time. James, being the life of the party, headed straight to bed after a bit too much fun, and Sandra found a comfy spot to chill, probably taking a breather from all the chaos. Meanwhile, I got stuck with the post-party clean-up duty. The once lively kitchen turned into a solo cleaning operation. In the midst of clattering dishes and the dishwasher's drone, the house settled into a sort of quiet. "By the way, here's the precious bracelet that you gave me. I did not want to create a scene before the party, but I can't accept this." "What's wrong? Why don't you want it?" "I don't believe in your job, Betty. Your little talent, as you like to call it, is useless, and I would not accept anything that comes from it. I'm a woman of principles." "Sandra, we had a great time today. Can't we just enjoy the moment? You don't have to bring this up again." "Yes, we did have a great time indeed. That is why I want you to focus on this house. Look how good you are at this, not your useless job." "I can't believe we're having this conversation again. I have explained this 100 times. Your job is unproductive, Betty, and your life is purposeless, if I'm being honest. You are good for nothing. It is better if you stay here and help me with chores. You are a lazy slacker and nothing else. I spoke to my friends today and they told me all the amazing things their daughters-in-law do. Me, on the other hand, I was embarrassed to tell them that you are a delusional designer. Even teenagers can make better bracelets with those dollar store bead boxes. So, what's it going to be, Betty? Giving up on your job or a lifetime of torture? This has been going on for months, Sandra, and I'm honestly done. Do you want me to stop working? Fine. I'm calling it quits. I will call my boss tomorrow and make an excuse. You want me to stay at home and work for you? I will do that. Are you serious? Damn sure I am. Watch me. Thank God you came to your senses. Life is going to be easier for me from now on. I hope you're happy now. I'm done defending myself. If this makes you feel victorious, so be it. It's for the best, Betty. You will see. Now, let's see how useful you can be around the house. Yeah, we will see about that. Now, let's get back to the dishes. There is plenty to be done around here. Of course, plenty to be done, exactly. So there I was, storming into our room after cleaning the entire house, feeling the weight of frustration and resentment. I climbed into bed next to James, who was still in a deep slumber. The next morning, I woke up with a newfound determination. I called my boss and told him I quit. Now, you might wonder how I could easily give up my job just because of Sandra. Well, I had a plan. A plan to make her realize who runs things around the house. Let me fill you in on a little secret about the debt Sandra was under. My late father-in-law left her with a significant financial burden, and there was a monthly installment of $3,500 she was supposed to pay. Sandra, under the impression that James, her son, had been covering these payments, was blissfully unaware of the truth. Guess who actually funded these payments? Yes, you got it right. It was coming from my account, the money I earned through my small business. This was the reason I was always left with just a few bucks that Sandra would mock. Now, with my job, I initially thought I would continue helping her out. But after the way she treated me, I had a change of heart. She had brought this upon herself, and the reason James did not take over the payments was because he was paying our mortgage. I volunteered to take on the responsibility for Sandra's debt while he focused on his goal. But now that I had become the housewife she so desired, I decided it was time to see how she would react when the burden of her monthly installment fell squarely on her shoulders. After the way she treated you, making you quit your job, it's not something I'm willing to let slide. Starting this month, she can handle her own debt payments. I will not utter a word until she gets a call from the debt collectors wondering why the money hasn't landed in their account. We have generously allowed her to stay with us and put up with her constant undermining, and this is how she repays us. I'm all in on this. It is time she faces the consequences of her actions. So there I was, officially playing the role of perfect housewife, just how Sandra envisioned it. Chores, laundry, cooking, you name it, I did it. It was tiring being her personal assistant for every little thing. I felt like I had become the servant of the house. But there was a silver lining, and it was the impending debt payment. Sandra, of course, reveled in the newfound luxury of having someone to manage her affairs. She bossed me around like there was no tomorrow, making sure I was well aware of my duties around the house. It was exhausting, but I kept reminding myself of the plan. About a month later, the big day finally came. Betty, remind James about the debt payment. I just received a call and it's due. Why should I remind him? He's not the one who's been paying off your debt. What do you mean? I mean, Sandra, it was me. I've been using the money from my small business to cover the payments. Even when I got a job, I continued to contribute. But now, since you've made me your housewife, I'm not working anymore. I don't have the money to pay for it. What? You've been handling the payments all this time? I had no idea. Sandra, you wanted a perfect housewife. Well, you've got one. But a housewife doesn't magically make money appear. Since I've quit my job and you've taken away my means to contribute, it's time for you to figure out how to handle your own responsibilities. You think this is a joke? You can't just quit contributing to the debt and act like it's not your problem. Sandra, it was never my problem. I can't believe you're doing this to me. Okay, listen, Betty, I'm sorry about everything I've put you through, and can we please go back to the way things were? You can go work all you want. I will manage all the chores at home. I shouldn't have behaved that way. My deepest apologies to you, dear. I should have respected you and your work. Sandra, please quit playing the saint now. It's too late. So after James and I stood our ground, Sandra had no choice but to figure things out herself. She sold some of her jewelry to make the debt payments for a couple of months. Now the dynamics at home have shifted. Sandra is no longer the bossy figure she used to be. Instead, she's more reserved, showering me with apologies left and right. As for me, I reached out to my previous boss, and luckily they were willing to take me back. Life seems to be falling back into place. The house is quieter, and I no longer feel like a personal assistant catering to Sandra's every whim. It's a relief to have some peace and to be able to focus on my job without unnecessary drama. Hey guys, I'm Montana, and buckle up because I'm about to spill the tea on how my ex-husband, the charming Tanner, got a taste of karma after dumping me a year ago. But before we dive into the juicy part, let me take you back to when life was all rainbows and unicorns just over a year ago. I was about to hit the big 3-5, and my life was practically perfect. A nurse by profession, I had always dreamt of donning those scrubs ever since my dad had triumphed over cancer. Childhood memories of hospital visits with him and the soothing presence of caring nurses fueled my ambition, and so I became one. Enter Tanner, my now disgusting ex. We crossed paths when I was 26. He owned a tattoo parlor, and fate led me to get my first ink from him. There was a certain charm about him, and after a smooth pickup line, we found ourselves on motorcycle dates and whatnot. 2 years of dating led to the grand finale, marriage. His family was not a big part of the picture, but despite initial reservations from my folks, Tanner grew on them like a persistent vine. Life was a blissful fairy tale. Reflecting on it now, I should have heeded those early signs. Red flags are real, people. The initial years of marital bliss rolled by seamlessly. We were financially stable, both excelling in our careers. However, the ticking of my biological clock became increasingly audible, and the desire for little ones grew stronger. I wanted babies before my ovaries decided to call it quits, but Tanner had other plans. Or rather, a lack of plans. Hey babe, I've been doing some thinking. How about we give babies a shot? We always used to talk about how much we like them, and I'm 30 now. Time's ticking, you know. We already have 2 cats, and now you want babies? Seriously? Come on, Tanner, I'm serious. And I'm not getting any younger. What are you talking about? You look the same as when I first met you. Tanner, be real. We've been putting this off for too long. You used to be all in for a proper family. What happened to that guy? Look, I'm going to be honest with you, hon. I don't think I'm cut out to be a dad. I did not mean what I said back then. I just wanted to win you over. Are you serious? What do you mean? I mean, I do not want kids. I do not want the responsibility. We are the cool couple, you having fun at the hospital, me with the boys at the tattoo parlor. We have got each other. Being a nurse is exhausting, Tanner, and I want a family so bad. You were all about making babies before marriage, and now you're backing out? It's not fair. You're giving me false hope. You lied to me. Honey, babies are a huge responsibility. Plus, you love me, right? We can be enough for each other. We're having a good time. Why complicate it with diapers and late-night feedings? Because that's life, Tanner. Life is not just about having a good time. It's about growing, evolving, and building something meaningful together. Well, maybe I'm not ready for all that. Can't we just enjoy what we have? So there I was, stuck in the aftermath of the baby talk disaster. Tanner had made it clear he was not up for the whole diaper changing, sleepless nights gig, and I foolishly, in love, accepted it. For the next 5 years, we lived our lives, doing everything but making babies. My nursing shifts were brutal, but every time I dragged myself home, Tanner would be there playing the role of the perfect husband. It was like he was trying to make up for the lack of little feet running around. Our lives were like a parallel universe. Mine, a tranquil existence with a few friends because, let's face it, nursing does not leave much room for a bustling social life. Tanner, on the other hand, thriving on having people over. It was not uncommon for our house to turn into a mini social hub. Now, let me tell you about the day I walked in on Tanner, beer in hand, entertaining not so familiar female faces in our living room. I swung the door open after a grueling shift, expecting a quiet house, maybe some Netflix and chill, but no. Life had other plans. There they were. 2 women I had never seen before, clinking beer bottles with my supposedly devoted husband. My blood boiled, and I swear the temperature in the room spiked. Tanner, sensing the storm that was about to hit, swiftly asked them to leave without bothering with introductions. "Honey, calm down. This is not what it seems. Do not be mad." "Well, Tanner, you are a married man. Who are these friends I don't even know about?" "Look, babe, I bring people over from the parlor all the time, and you never cared. Just because they're women, you should not doubt me. They're from the town I grew up in. We got talking, and it was time to close, so I invited them here." "Oh, I'm sorry. I was just tired, and walking in and seeing you with them just brought the worst out in me." "I get it, babe. It was bad timing. You know I only love one woman, and that is you." "Well, you better." "It was nothing scandalous, I promise. Just catching up with old friends, small town vibes. That was just it." "Old friends, huh? How come I have never heard about them before?" "Maybe because you are the only one I talk about. Anyway, how about I make it up to you? Foot massage while you catch up on your favorite TV show?" So that's how things were. Last year something happened, something I never imagined, because I was knee-deep into trusting Tanner too much, which I should not have. It was a week before my 35th birthday, and even though our tradition was to celebrate birthdays at home with a simple homemade cake and thoughtful presents, Tanner wanted to do something different this time. "Babe, I was thinking for your 35th birthday, why not go all out? Let us do something special." "All out? What are you planning, Tanner?" "How about a weekend getaway? We can head to that cozy cabin in the outskirts my friend owns. I'm sure he would not mind giving it away to me for the weekend." "That is quite the departure from our usual low-key celebrations." "I thought it was a milestone birthday and you deserve something memorable. Plus a change of scenery might do us good." "That does sound nice, Tanner. I'll talk at the hospital to get my shifts covered." "Don't forget to talk to the cat sitter about the cats." So the whole week I worked my ass off so I could have the special day all to myself and Tanner. My birthday was on a Saturday, so I took leave from the hospital for Saturday and Sunday. When I got home from work around 11 p.m. the night before, Tanner was nowhere to be found. I looked for him in the living room, then the kitchen, and finally headed to our bedroom. On the bed was a black sequin dress and a brand new red lipstick with a note next to it. "My dearest Montana, I'm at the cabin setting up a surprise just for you. Tomorrow I'll send a cab for you at 5 p.m. How about you come wearing this gorgeous black sequin dress and put on that red lipstick? You are going to look absolutely stunning. Pack a bag for your night clothes and leave everything else up to me. P.S. I've kept some lasagna in the fridge for you. Enjoy it, and I cannot wait to see you tomorrow." As I read Tanner's note, a flutter of excitement and curiosity bubbled up within me. The words danced off the paper, and I could not help but grin at the thought of what awaited me at the cabin. I was practically buzzing with excitement the whole night. Tanner going all out like this? Totally unexpected. The next morning I woke up, video called my folks, and shot back some replies to the birthday wishes my friends had sent. I was on cloud 9, stoked for what the day had in store. Getting ready was a blast. Shower, makeup on, especially that killer red lip. Slipping into that knockout black sequin dress and throwing on some fierce black heels. My confidence was through the roof. The taxi rolled up at 5 p.m. and I hopped in, ready for the adventure. The cabin was about an hour away, nestled in a quiet spot that promised peace and quiet. Finally, we pulled up to the cabin. It gave me an Airbnb vibe, and maybe Tanner's friend used to rent it out to other people, I thought to myself. Stepping out of the taxi, I took a long breath. I knocked on the door, wondering what surprises were waiting on the other side. "Yo, happy birthday, babe. You're finally here. I've been waiting since forever." I took a step inside. I was hoping for the place to be filled with balloons or some party decorations because Tanner hadn't been home the last night. "Thanks, babe. And this place? What's on your mind? I thought you were pulling an all-nighter, decorating or something, but who cares? This place is already stunning. Thank you so much for this. Well, sit your awesome self down. I'm going to grab us some fancy wine. Tanner places 3 wine glasses on the table. Why the trio? Are we expecting someone or what? Oh yeah, someone's joining us. Who is the mystery guest? I thought it was just going to be us on this romantic getaway. Oh, you'll find out soon enough. Keep those guessing skills sharp, babe. You're killing me with suspense here, Tanner. All right, babe. So I have got 2 gifts for you, and honestly, I'm a bit torn on which one to give you first. Let us go with the easier one for now, I guess. So Tanner handed me this envelope. No questions asked. I just started tearing it open. Inside, instead of a lovey-dovey letter or a surprise getaway ticket, there were papers. My eyes started scanning, and what did I see? Divorce papers. I was standing there, squinting at the words, wondering if Tanner was pulling some kind of twisted prank on me. Like, seriously? Who hands their spouse divorce papers as a birthday gift? I could not wrap my head around it. Seriously? Are these divorce papers fake or something, Tanner? If this is some messed up joke, I swear I'm going to lose it. No joke, Montana. They are real. What? You were serious about wanting a divorce? How did we end up here? You had me dress up for all this, and what is happening? Well, maybe the next surprise will help you understand this a bit better. Leah, honey, you can come out now. So there I was, sitting there, still trying to wrap my head around those darn divorce papers when I heard someone coming down the stairs, and when that person finally stepped into view, I absolutely lost it. It was this blonde girl, looking all young and fresh. She had on some sleepwear, and even without a lick of makeup, she was naturally pretty. I mean, seriously? Could this day get any more twisted? Who is this? Well, I would like to introduce you to Leah. Hey, Montana, I'm sure you do not know me, but trust me, I've heard a lot about you, and not always in a good way. Come on, Leah, don't give Montana that crap. She's already having a tough day. Well, Montana, Leah and I are in love with each other. Love? Are you serious? How old is she? She looks so young. Well, I'm 22. But age is just a number, right? How long has this been going on for? Look, Leah and I, we met just like you and I did. Leah got her first tattoo from me a year ago, and well, we started talking, and the rest is history. So you have been seeing her behind my back this whole time? How could you? I think I made a mistake marrying you, Montana. I have this feeling of being a family man with Leah. I want to have a fresh start with her and do the whole baby thing. You are too old for that now. This is unreal. You insult me on my birthday and break my heart? I gave up everything for you. Look at you trying too hard in that black dress. We're on a different wavelengths, Montana. Montana, you were this nurse who's all about saving people's lives, and I'm this super cool guy who is young at heart and wants to give tattoos to people. We do not get along. You're an old hag, and why should I be with you when I can be with this gorgeous young woman here? I can't believe this. A nightmare on my birthday. What do I do now? You were my whole life, Tanner. Well, I'll make it easy for you. The cab's still out there, and I will spend tonight like I did last night with Leah here. You can go home, pack your things, and move out by tomorrow. And yeah, happy birthday, you grey-haired oldster. So there I was, in the aftermath of Tanner's bombshell. I cried my heart out and stormed out of that cabin as fast as my feet could carry me. Never in my life had I felt so insulted and embarrassed, all for something beyond my control. Aging is a normal part of life, right? And it is not like Tanner was some young buck himself. He was 33 when I turned 35. Yet here he was, thinking he could conquer the world by getting rid of an oldie like me. The cab driver, bless his soul, even asked if I was okay. My face must have been a swollen mess from all the crying. The drive back home was brutal, but as soon as I stumbled through the door, I made a beeline for the kitchen cabinet. A bottle of wine became my refuge. A drowning, sorrowful kind of night. I felt this overwhelming wave of insecurity and self-loathing. A day that was meant to celebrate me had done a complete 180. How could Tanner do this to me, sneaking off with a 22-year-old for a whole year, and now wanting to marry her and start a family? I had those divorce papers he handed me, a cruel reminder of his betrayal right in front of me. After a night of too much wine and a fitful sleep, I woke up at 4 a.m. with a pounding headache and a heavy heart. It was then that I decided to face the wreckage. I started packing my bags, the reality sinking in with each item I placed into the suitcase. By 7 a.m, I was done. Just as I finished, I heard the main door to the house creak open. My heart skipped a beat. It was Tanner. "What brings you here so early? I'm not ready to bounce yet." "Spare me the morning drama. Just need to grab some cash." "What is the emergency?" "Leah's brother is in a tight spot with debt, and I've been helping him out. He needs money urgently." Well, look at you playing the responsible adult. Who would have thought? "Leah has got this effect on me. I'm all about doing things for her and taking care of her mess." He grabbed his cash, muttered something about coming back in the evening, and made it crystal clear that I should be gone by then. I gathered my bags and those darn divorce papers, the painful proof of my failed marriage, and headed to my parents' place. My folks were my rocks through this storm. I spilled my heart out to them, and they stood by me every step of the way. Work was my Linda escape, my daily routine to keep some semblance of normalcy. Coming home to a cozy supper with my parents made life feel simple, even amid my insecurities and doubts. I could not help but wonder where I went wrong in all of this. After we finally untangled the mess and got divorced, thank goodness I had the financial means to get my own place. I moved out solo. At 35, I was navigating this new chapter by myself. Determined to give life another shot, I tried to socialize, make friends, embrace myself, and even started going out on dates. And that is when I met Abe. He was a friend of a fellow nurse, and we crossed paths at her birthday party. He was a manager at a furniture store, a 37-year-old divorcee with no kids. It had been almost a year since the worst day of my life, and lo and behold, my birthday was approaching again. "Hey babe, your birthday's approaching and you have already filled me in on the shit show from last year. I was thinking, what do you want to do this time? I don't want to go all out and then you end up not liking it." "That's understandable. How about we keep it simple? Just dinner at my place." "Yeah, that sounds perfect." "Great. We can order in or I can cook something special." "You're cooking. I'm all in for that. Count me in." "Glad you're excited about it. Now, about your moving in idea." "Yeah, so I've been thinking, we've been spending a lot of time together and I really enjoy it. How would you feel about me moving in?" "Abe, I've been thinking about that too. I would love for you to move in." "Seriously? That is fantastic. I was worried you might think it was too soon or something." "Well, you're not bringing a toothbrush over just for dinner, are you?" "No, definitely not. This feels right, you know." "It does. I have got an extra toothbrush just in case." "You have been expecting this, huh?" "Maybe a little, but hey, it's a big step and I want you to feel at home." "Thanks, Montana. I really appreciate it. I just hope things turn out to be better for both of us." So Abe moved in, and despite the usual adjustment period that comes with sharing your space, things were going pretty well. The birthday dinner was a hit. We got along surprisingly well, not just as a couple, but as roommates too. Life settled into a comfortable routine. We had our own rhythms and habits, but it all seemed to sync up effortlessly. And just when I thought I had officially begun a new chapter in my life, the past had its way of coming back again, or so I thought. It was one Sunday afternoon. Abe was at the store and I did not have a shift for another 4 hours. I was just enjoying watching some TV when I heard knocking at my door. I was not expecting anyone, so I thought it must be just Abe. But when I opened the door, on the other side was the one and only Tanner. "Tanner, what on earth are you doing here?" "Hey, it took me forever to find you. Can I come in? Maybe grab a drink of water?" "We are divorced. What is going on?" "Let me in just for a bit. I need to talk and I'm parched." I let Tanner in and gave him a glass of water. "Fine, but make it quick. Why are you looking for me after everything that happened? You made my life a nightmare." "Those pictures on the frame. Who is the new guy?" "I'm seeing someone. What is it to you?" "A year later and you're already moving on. Really?" "Remember how you cheated on me and threw divorce papers in my face?" "About that. Leah and I split. Things went south." "That is not my problem. What's with the sudden visit?" "I'm broke, almost penniless." "What happened to your tattoo parlor?" "You remember Leah's brother I was helping out back then?" Turns out it was not Leah's brother, it was her boyfriend. "Are you kidding me?" "No." I was shocked myself. Leah used me to pay her boyfriend's debts off, and then they went on using me. I was so madly in love with her. She said she needed to pay for her and her brother's house, otherwise they would get kicked out. So I sold part of my tattoo parlor to my co-owner to help her save her house. After she was done using me, she laughed at my face for being such a massive fool and dumped me. Whoa, that must have been a roller coaster ride for you. You know, I do not have anyone. My parents are not in the picture and I'm struggling. I even had to sell my car to have money for day-to-day needs. All this bad luck just sprung upon me from nowhere. I have no one to go to except for you. So why come to me after treating me like trash? Did you think I would be willing to help you? I messed up last year. I'm sorry. Can we move on? I really want you to help me out here, Montana, for old time's sake. It's not that easy. You brought this upon yourself. I will not fix your mess. We are exes. End of story. Get out of my house. Montana, please, I'm desperate. Your desperation is not my problem. You made your choices. Now go. So when Abe got back home, I spilled the whole crazy Tanner saga. He listened, took it all in, and then he dropped a gem of wisdom about karma. He said, "Karma's like a boomerang. What goes around comes around." That line stuck with me because you know what? Sometimes life has a funny way of balancing the scales on its own. You do not need to lift a finger. I'm with Abe now. I have moved on. I believe there are better things waiting for me in the future because I have never intentionally hurt anyone. Karma, whether good or bad, has its way of finding you. As for Tanner, well, he got his own dose of karma. It's like the universe served him a plate of consequences for what he did. What you put out there has a way of finding its way back to you, and Tanner learned that the hard way. Life has a way of settling scores, and I have learned to trust that process. Hey there, I'm Sheila, a 76-year-old woman with a story to tell. Before we dive into the story, I want to share a brief note. This tale touches on the topic of domestic abuse, but I won't delve into graphic details. I'm mindful of those who may have faced similar challenges, and I want to ensure a safe space for everyone. If you or someone you know has experienced this, remember that you're not alone and it's never too late to seek help. Once upon a time, I was a lawyer fighting for justice in courtrooms, but life took a turn and I retired at 55. I had always been a career woman, but after my retirement, things did not seem as bad because of my wonderful husband. I got really lonely after my husband passed away when I was 70. Now, let me introduce you to Tara, my amazing and resilient granddaughter, the muse of this post today. Her dad passed away when she was 17, and her mom, my daughter, went through a tough time. On Tara's 18th birthday, my daughter left her a note that said, "I have found someone else. I will not be coming back for you." And that's when Tara and I became inseparable. I took her under my roof and helped her deal with grief. I also stepped up to her through college, paying for her tuition and being there when she needed support. Tara is a smart cookie, especially in engineering. She landed her first job and I was the first person she shared the news with. When she got married to her husband, Ellie, she asked me and her grandpa to walk her down the aisle. And this post is about how this old lady, that is me, turned out to be unexpectedly useful in Tara's life at the age of 76. It all started 8 months back when Tara called me to tell me some special news. "Hey, Grandma, how you doing?" "Oh, it's so good to hear from you, honey. I'm doing well. How are you? And Ellie, how's your work going?" "Great, great, and great. Actually, Ellie and I were thinking of coming over to your house tonight." "Of course, I will make my special pecan pie that you love." "Good. And, Grandma, maybe clear away all your wine bottles?" "What do you mean? Why should I do that?" "Well, Grandma, you are 76. You get the idea." "Oh my God, are you saying that?" "Yes, Grandma, I'm pregnant. You are going to be a great grandma to a baby boy or girl very soon." "Oh, Tara, that is incredible news. I can't believe it. When did you find out?" "Just recently. Ellie and I are over the moon." "This is the best news, sweetheart. I can't wait to see you and Ellie tonight. We will celebrate this wonderful surprise together." The evening with Tara and Ellie was just perfect. We ate, laughed, and felt the love. Even Ellie, who always seemed a bit distant, opened up a bit. He was family after all. After they left, I could not help but feel excited about having a little one in the family soon, so I decided to send Tara some stuff to help her out during her pregnancy. I sent over homemade pies because, good food makes everything better. I also made sure that she got healthy snacks like fruits and nuts to keep her strong. And of course, I sent some cozy blankets and tiny baby clothes. Just a little something to show that we are all in this together. I wrote little notes with each package telling her how much I loved her and how excited I was about the baby. When Tara completed her first trimester, I decided to invite her and Ellie for dinner because it had been a long while since I had not seen her. The table was set and the aroma of a home-cooked meal filled the air. A short while later, an Uber pulled up in front of my house and I rushed to open the door, my heart fluttering with joy. To my surprise, Tara stepped out alone. "Tara, where is Ellie? You came alone?" "Well, how about we go in and I'll tell you, Grandma." We both stepped inside the living room and Tara took a seat. "Oh, it smells delicious in here." "It must be the peanut butter brownies. Oh, look, your bump has started to show. You look so beautiful and graceful, my darling." "Thanks, Grandma. So, what happened to Ellie?" "Well, there is a lot I need to tell you, Grandma. Firstly, I quit my job." "Wow, that was a decision I never saw coming." "I wanted this pregnancy to be a time to enjoy, and I want to be focused on only that. And then, when I thought about it, I would not be going back to work for a long time after the baby arrived. So getting off work for a while seemed like the right option." "Yeah, you made the right decision. Motherhood is a beautiful thing, full of joys you don't want to miss out on." "It's just that Ellie and I had a little fight about it. I was helping my mother-in-law, Tanya, pay her mortgage with my paycheck every month, and I told him I would not be able to do it anymore." "Really? And he got mad at you for that?" "You know it's not fair. You were kind enough to help his mom in the first place, and now—" "Grandma, relax. We have little fights like this all the time, trust me. He can be a bit of a mama's boy sometimes, but we always make up." "Are you sure you're going to be fine?" Of course, Grandma, he loves me. I bet he's going to come home from work tomorrow with my favorite chocolates, begging for my forgiveness. Well, I hope so. But make sure he knows it's not right to be upset with you during this special time. Sweetheart, remember, a relationship is about understanding and compromise. I know, Grandma. I will talk to him about it. It's not that deep, I promise. But enough about that. Let's enjoy this delicious meal you made. Tara entered her 4th and 5th months of pregnancy and things started to change. We earlier used to have lengthy phone conversations, almost every week, sharing the details of our lives. However, for some reason, those calls turned into texts. Tara reassured me once in a while through messages, letting me know she was fine. She also stopped inviting me over on weekends like she used to. I tried not to worry too much, thinking it might be because of pregnancy hormones and changes. One day, while getting my meds refilled at the hospital, I bumped into Tara. She looked very tired. Her face seemed pale. "Oh my God, Tara, what are you doing here?" "Oh, hey Grandma, I had a doctor's checkup. What about you?" "I was just getting refills. By the way, why are you alone? Doesn't Ellie come to these regular checkups with you?" "No, not today. It's an exception. He had work." "But today is Sunday." "I mean, he was called in at work, Grandma." "Have you been eating properly, though? I sent you a new hamper with those healthy seeds, including flax seeds. But you look so pale. Your face is sucked in." "Grandma, I didn't sleep last night. I was binge watching movies. Maybe that's why." "Tara, it's not just about physical health. Your well-being matters too. If you are having trouble sleeping or feeling overwhelmed, talk to me. You know I'm here for you, right?" "I know, but I don't want you to worry because I'm completely fine." "Well, take care." "Oh, don't worry, Grandma. I'm taking care. I'll see you soon." Everything was going well after the reassurance from Tara. However, a week later, just when I thought things had settled, another Uber pulled up at my door, and it was Tara again, and this time with a huge suitcase. "Hey, Grandma, I'm sorry to show up so unexpectedly like this, but Ellie had to go on a working trip in the morning with no prior notice." "It's all good. I'm glad to have you here. You know this is your second home, right?" "Yes, I do. I just did not want to be on my own and miss Ellie, so I thought I would rather come over here and spend some time with you. Ellie does not know how long it's going to take him, so I packed a big suitcase just in case." "Ha, that even brings me more joy. I'll be able to spend time with you again like in the old days, and we can have movie marathons." "I was hoping you would say that. I have missed our movie nights." "Well, you're always welcome here. Now, let us get that suitcase settled and we can catch up over a cup of tea. How about that?" "Sounds perfect, Grandma." Tara and I had a blast during her stay. It felt like the old days, but better, without all the trauma. Our mornings became a ritual. Tara doing a bit of yoga and me reading the newspaper. We enjoyed healthy meals, worked on little DIY projects for the upcoming baby's room, and had loads of fun. Tara started gaining her health back. Her once sucked-in cheeks were not as prominent anymore. It had been a week of joy and reconnection. One morning, as I headed to her room to give her the green smoothie we had adopted into our routine, I walked in on her video chatting with Ellie. "Hey there, Sheila. How's everything?" "Oh, hey, Ellie. How is your work trip treating you?" "Work trip? Oh, yeah, that. It's going really well. Can't wait to get back and see Tara." "That's sweet, honey." "Tara? Why don't you ditch the sweatshirt? It's scorching here. Why wear that in summer?" "Grandma, I'm just feeling cold. My body's going through some interesting changes during this time." "Tara, you better keep it on. We don't want you to catch a cold." "Sure thing. Well, hopefully we'll see each other soon." "Absolutely." Bye, Ellie. Take care. Bye, Sheila. 2 days had passed since Ellie's video call, and Tara and I were comfortably seated on the couch. I was completing a blanket I had started crocheting for the upcoming winters, and Tara was engrossed in a magazine. The atmosphere was peaceful until suddenly there was a loud banging on the door. It was a strange occurrence, especially when there was a perfectly functional doorbell. The banging sounded aggressive, and Tara and I exchanged concerned glances. Tara started to get up, but I quickly signaled her to sit down. I felt a protective instinct, wanting to shield her from any potential danger. I cautiously approached the door, and without opening it, I shouted, "Who is it?" "It's me, Tanya, Tara's mother-in-law. Please open the door." "Just a sec. I just got out of the shower." I then started whispering to Tara, "Why is your mother-in-law here? Please don't let her in, Grandma. She's going to hurt me." "Hurt you? What do you mean?" "Sheila, open the door. I know you're in there." "I'll explain later. Just please don't let her in." "She knows I'm home. I just can't refuse to open the door. Grandma, please." "Go upstairs and sit in my bedroom. I will tell her you're not around." "All right." Tara ran upstairs and I went and opened the door. "Oh, Tanya, it's been so long. This is so unexpected. I thought you forgot about me." "Hey, Sheila, I'm not here to see you. Where is Tara?" "I'm afraid Tara's not around." "What do you mean? I know Tara's in here." "Whoever told you that has the wrong information. Where is Tara? You have got me all worried about her. Did you talk to your son about this?" "He's the one who told me she's here. Let me come in. I'll have a look around." "Well, I will not allow that. And by the way, you are on my property. If you continue to bother me like this, I can give a call to the cops. So I'm asking you very nicely, Tanya, please get off my property right now. I don't know what it is that my granddaughter has done to upset you, but this behavior is not acceptable at all." "Well, I'm leaving your property right now, but we will get even some other time, Sheila." Tanya walked off down the sidewalk, engrossed in her phone. 5 minutes later, an Uber arrived and she left. As soon as she was out of sight, I called for Tara and she came downstairs. The atmosphere was heavy with confusion. I could sense that Tara was hiding something from me, and it left me deeply worried. "Tara, there's a lot you need to share. What was that commotion about? I had no idea your mother-in-law could be so unpleasant. Does she treat you like this regularly?" "It's more complicated than it looks, Grandma." "Honey, talk to me. I am genuinely worried." "Well, Grandma, Tanya has not always been kind to me. Even when I was helping with her mortgage, she was never appreciative. Ellie said it was just her way and I should endure it. But when I quit my job and refused to pay her mortgage, things got worse. Not just her, but my sister-in-law Amy too. They would show up at our place almost every day when Ellie was away at work and make my life miserable." "Goodness, Tara, why didn't you tell me? Those ungrateful people, and what do you mean by make your life miserable?" "It started with ordering me around, forcing me to cook 5-course meals for them. If I did not comply, they'd badmouth me, saying as a stay-at-home mom I should follow their orders. But it escalated into abuse, both emotionally and physically." "Unbelievable, honey. Look at these bruises on my arms. They'd throw things at me, or even pour hot water if I didn't do as they said. The day I came to your house, things got out of hand. That's why you never showed your arms in these sweatshirts. Out of hand? What happened? Ellie was at home all along. There was no work trip. Amy and Tanya came over, bad-mouthing me in front of Ellie. He stayed silent. When I stood up for myself, they got aggressive. Tanya pushed me and I ended up on the floor. I had to see a doctor before coming here to make sure everything was okay." "Tara, I can't believe you went through all of this alone. Why keep it from me?" "I was scared, Grandma. Scared of what they might do if they found out. I sought help." "Tara, You're not alone anymore. We'll face this together. Those two won't get away with what they've done. I just wanted a peaceful life, Grandma. I never expected things to turn out like this. Ellie is still at home and we're not talking. I'm uncertain how long this will continue. The environment isn't safe for my baby. I just want to shield him and make the best choices. Sweetheart, don't worry about going back to that house. With my background as a lawyer, I've encountered cases like these throughout my career. Women can be emotionally manipulated and suppressed to a point where they are scared to speak up. It's easy for others to ask, why didn't she report it? Or why endure the nonsense? But I understand your perspective. You and your little one deserve a safer and better life. I had a plan in mind to bring justice to Tara. We needed some sort of proof. I asked Tara to invite Ellie along with his mom to my house the next day. I wanted to create a situation where we could uncover the truth and gather evidence against the abuse Tara had been enduring. Tara, we need a plan to bring justice, and for that, we need proof. Tomorrow, invite Ellie and his mom to my house. But why would they willingly come here? Well, we need to give them some sort of bait. Tell them you asked me for money and you are willing to give it to them. Convey that you want the abuse to stop. Make it seem like you want to return home and beg them to go easy on you. In return, you will hand over some money. Grandma, I'm not sure if they're going to buy it. Trust me, Tara, I've dealt with people like these for most of my life. Some people are really greedy and they'll go to any extent for money. Okay, sure, I'll give them a call and let's see what happens. When Tara called them, the plan went smoothly. She spoke to Ellie, expressing her desire to return home, and suggested they come to pick her up from my house the next day when I wouldn't be home. She explained that she wanted to give them some money, and surprisingly, they easily accepted the proposition. It seemed like they took the bait without questioning the motive, setting the stage for our plan to unfold. I was genuinely concerned about Tara. For all these months, she had been enduring so much, and I didn't know. I couldn't help her. That night, she slept next to me, a hint of fear in her eyes. It struck me how much trauma she must have experienced to be scared of her mother-in-law, who just appeared at the door. But one thing was clear in my mind: I would make them suffer. I had always been fiercely protective of Tara ever since my daughter left her. It was baffling how much I resented my own daughter for her selfish actions towards my granddaughter. The next day arrived. Tara had invited them over to my place at 3 o'clock. The plan was set. I would hide in the upstairs bedroom with my neighbor, Dash, a 24-year-old young man who had always been very helpful to me. Tara's in-laws were dangerous, potentially capable of anything. I wanted to be prepared just in case. We had set up a spy camera that Dash bought us in the living room. I had briefed Tara on what to say to bring out the worst in them, hoping they would indirectly confess to all their crimes. Dash came over to my house, set up the camera, and we stationed ourselves upstairs. From our vantage point, we could overhear everything from downstairs. The camera was in place and the doorbell rang at 3 sharp. Ellie, Tanya, you're here. Yes, we are. I'm here to collect the money you should have paid me months ago. Look, Tanya, I've tried to mediate for a long time, and in return you just fled the house to live with this old hag. You lied to her that I was on a business trip. I want you to hand over the money you got from Mom and we can all go back home peacefully. I hope Sheila isn't home, is she? That woman has a sharp tongue. Well, she isn't. Okay, then let's get this over with. The thing is, I don't have the money. I lied to you. There we go again. I'm so sick of you, drama queen. What? Are you kidding me? What are we here for then? I called you here because I wanted to make peace and go back home. I'm sorry, Tanya, I quit my job, but I needed some time for myself and my little one. I don't want to be a bother to my grandma anymore. Tanya, when you threw things at me, all I wondered was how could you do that to another woman, especially your own daughter-in-law. And Ellie, you didn't even step up for me. And it all happened while I had your baby in my womb. Look, Tara, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know what you were thinking when you called us here, but I have my priorities straight. I need to pay off my mortgage one way or another. The money I have, it's for Amy and me. Someone needs to pay for us, and it's you. Well, I'm not your servant, Tanya. You can't ask me to pay for you, and then when I don't, I can't be at your beck and call 24/7 making 5-course meals for you. Oh, look at you. Seems like you've grown a tongue just like your grandma. I think that push to the ground wasn't enough. Amy and I will be waiting for you because sooner or later you're going to come back crawling. Your old granny cannot keep you forever, and believe me, the next time you're at our place again, things are going to get worse. Everything changes over time, Tanya. Don't be too confident because maybe this time it's you who's going to suffer. And who's going to make me suffer? I will. Tara said what she needed to, and it was followed by a scream. Dash and I rushed down the stairs, and there was Tanya wielding her enormous purse as a weapon. However, she halted mid-swing, and both Ellie and Tanya fixed their eyes on us. What's going on here? This is our family matter. Stay out of it. Oh my God, Tara, what's going on? You said your grandma wasn't home. And who is this guy? Are you cheating on me? Cheating on you? Do you think I'm the kind of person who would do that? He's here to protect me from you and your mom. You guys are unpredictable and have anger issues. Your jig is up, Ellie. Tara doesn't want to stay with you anymore. She's filing for divorce. This has to be a joke. And what, are you going to move in here with your granny? Damn right I am. Not just that, your whole family will pay for your crimes, and I will make sure of it. Mom, I think we should leave. The game is on. No one is going to believe you. We'll see about that. After that wild day, one of my lawyer mentees I've nurtured since their early days joined forces to help Tara. We went to court armed with strong evidence. Ellie's mom and sister ended up behind bars, facing the consequences of their actions. Tara bravely initiated divorce proceedings, cutting ties with the toxicity. Ellie didn't escape either. He spent a month in jail. We are determined to ensure he has no visitation rights for the baby on the way. Tara found refuge in my home, creating a sense of the old days when we leaned on each other. Yet, I want more for Tara. I hope she rediscovers love, a bright spot amid the challenges. Life isn't just tough. There's kindness and love waiting. Now, we eagerly await Tara's due date, just 6 days away. The baby's gender is still a surprise, adding excitement to the anticipation. In a few days, a new chapter begins, bringing with it the joy of a sweet surprise.